Next, we will be hearing from Daniel Erbe. And let me spotlight that smile. Doesn't he have a great smile? Let me tell you a little bit about Daniel. And he is going to help you discover how to rise through a storm. Anybody ever had a storm? Anybody here ever been in a storm? Yes, we all have. And reclaim your God-given voice and boldly step into the calling of your life and business. He is a nationally acclaimed singer, a military veteran, and a performance coach for kingdom-driven entrepreneurs, leaders, and communicators. He has performed for U.S. presidents, sung on the biggest stages in America, but he now mentors others to show up with presence, power, and purpose. Welcome with me, Daniel, to the stage. I can't hear you at the moment.
Hello, can you hear me
I
now?
can
Can you hear
hear
me
you
now?
now.
Okay, well, that was going to be my first question. Can you hear me? So now, if you can hear me, drop a yes in the chat. Garage, drop a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Yes, great, great, great. Okay, so now, can you see my slides? Because the last time, 10 minutes of talking, no slides, never again. Can everyone see my slides? Yes. Okay, yes. Wonderful. All right, great. So, we're good to go. So, let's get focused. So, I am giving this my full energy, and I ask the same of you. So, please put your phone on silent, just like I did. Close out all your social media. Nothing on Facebook is going to teach you how to move people like this will. So, grab a pen, and you are about to learn how to rise through the storm and speak in a way that moves hearts and opens doors. So, I would love for us to just to get connected a little bit. So, where are you tuning in from, and what are you sipping on? What is the beverage of choice that you are sipping on? And just share that in the chat for me, please. Where are you turning in from, and what beverage? We've got Donna from Grand Rapids. She's sipping on water. Elaine from Virginia, and Zivia. Okay, wonderful. So we've got a full house today. Let's just dive in. I'll be asking questions throughout, so let's just keep that chat open. And if you hear like an aha or a takeaway, hi Lori, she's in Waco drinking drink from my Baylor cup. All right, go Bears. So, yeah, let's just type in any ahas or takeaways, and let's just make this interactive. All right. Oh, the land of the free. So, as soon as I finished singing, the sound of 25,000 people filled the arena and rang through my body. And at that moment, I wasn't just performing, I was reclaiming my identity and representing everyone who has faced adversity. You know, about that moment, that was the comeback years in the making. So, welcome everyone. I'm Daniel Erbe, and today is about what happens when your voice is silenced and what it takes to rise again. So, a quick pulse check in. On a scale from 1 to 10, how confident do you feel when using your voice? A scale from 1 to 10, how confident, share in the chat, do you feel when using your voice? We have an 8, we have a 7, all right. We have a 9, and we have a 4. Now ask yourself, when was the last time your voice actually moved someone to action or tears? And that's what we're diving into today. So this is for you if you feel called to share your why, but you haven't really figured out how to share your how. You're building a business, but your message still feels hidden. And you're ready to stop waiting and start showing up. So, where are you now? Are you A, backstage. You're building your business and your brand, and you know that your voice is part of it. But fear, nerves, or doubt keeps you quiet. Or are you B? You've had some experience. You've spoken on some stages, performed, or shown up on camera before, but you still feel inconsistent, unpolished, or unsure when that spotlight is on. Or C, you are seasoned, but you are ready to go next level. You've been speaking, performing, but now it's time to master your message and your presence. So which one are you? Are you A, backstage, B, in the wings, or C, you're on stage but you are wanting to level up? Share with me in the chat. We've got a B here. Kelly is a B. Elaine is a C. Wonderful. All right. So, Anne is a B. All right. So, whether you are an A, B, or C, you're in the right place. So, what you're going to take away from today is a renewed belief that your storm has a purpose and tools to reclaim your voice and a framework to rise when the world says that you are done. And it's not your fault. It is not your fault that you've been told to just be confident on stage or project the voice, use your eyes, your hands, and wave them around, or just speak from the heart, and the audience will love you. And it's not your fault that no one showed you how to build unshakable presence so the audience can feel something. Using your mindset, your body, and your breath, and your message. And this isn't just about talent, it's training. And you just lacked the system. But that all ends today. So imagine this. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing you're no longer shrinking to fit into someone's mold. And you've stopped questioning your worth. And you remember the voice that God gave you, and you are finally using it. And you speak, and people lean in. And you walk into rooms and command presence before you even say a word. And you deliver your story. And people feel it in their bones. And you're finally using the voice that God gave you with power, clarity, and conviction. And you see, I get it. So I was a joyful kid, always laughing, singing, performing. By 10, I had actually toured Europe and sang solos in front of thousands. But at age 12, my parents divorced and the home life became unstable. Emotionally, I just shut down. It was unsafe. But the stage became my safe place, where I could be strong and thrive. And while everything around me felt unstable, that spotlight made me feel seen. And so I pursued music in college and became a professional opera singer, chasing audition after audition across the country. But behind the scenes, I struggled with my voice. And I pursued that through grit, hard work, and determination. But no matter how hard I tried, I never felt good enough. So I've shifted focus. I stopped obsessing about vocal perfection, and I learned into mastering presence, language, and commanding the stage. You know, Beethoven wasn't born a prodigy like Mozart was. He had to earn everything through relentless training, obsessive focus, and grit. And he didn't rely on raw talent. He transformed it through unshakable discipline. And that story, it stuck with me because that was me. And so I didn't stumble into the spotlight. I fought for it. After 10 years of chasing an opera career, I earned a coveted role as a soloist in the United States Army Field Band, singing for presidents, celebrities, and millions across America. But despite my success and years of switching vocal styles, wore my voice down. And I lost it. So what I do? I rebuilt it from the ground up. New technique, new belief, and it took years. But I came back even stronger. I earned my place back downstage, and I was even featured on a Grammy Award-winning album. And then COVID hit. And with it, a mandate I just couldn't support. And so leadership told me I might never sing for the Army again. So I had a choice. And I chose to walk away from the career, from the Army, and from everything I'd work to rebuild. And I was devastated. But God wasn't finished, and neither was I. And so after the Army, I tried to fit in as a civilian. I chased jobs, I learned new skills, and sought approval. But trying to redefine myself in a world that just didn't get me. I worked political gigs, consulting, government contracts, and nothing was aligning. I wasn't surviving, or I wasn't even thriving, and I was just surviving. But, God used that season to strip every false identity until I stopped conforming and I finally started listening. And I knew something had to change. And I realized something. Success leaves clues. And I had lived through them before. Before the military, in my opera career, I was auditioning. I was getting in the right rooms, landing gigs, building momentum. And hey, it actually got me a coveted role in the Army where I earned solos. I sang with symphonies, premiered an opera role, and yes, even the Grammy Award-winning album. And that wasn't luck. That was preparation, positioning, and yes, performance. And I knew I had to get back to the national stage. And not for me, but for every veteran who ever felt forgotten. Every voice that had been silenced. And so I started over. Singing for free at political events, small political events, local political events, hustling, networking, knocking on doors again and again and again. No shortcuts, just relentless pursuit from political events. And then the doors opened. Big stages, big names, big moments, from political events to global platforms. I wasn't just singing again, I was walking into my divine authority. And after 2 years of fighting back to that national stage, I got my shot. And this time, it wasn't the Army that provided this global platform. I did it. But we all know who it really was. It was God. And I was ready for my comeback. Oh, the home of the brave. So you're probably thinking, sure, that all sounds good, but why are you teaching this, Daniel? Because I've been where you are. Rejected, silenced, unseen. And I want you to know that your rejection might just be your preparation. And your voice has value. And now it's your time. And so today you are going to discover, don't just speak, but move people. And this is the secret to reclaiming your voice, your confidence, and your calling after the storm. And so, okay, before we go any further, let's just address this elephant in the room, shall we? Okay? You may be saying, isn't this just talent? Aren't people just born with the ability to command the stage? Or maybe, I'm not a speaker. My story is not that dramatic. And who would want to listen to me? But the truth is, people train for the stage. And you can too. And you don't need a perfect voice, but it does need to be free, unlocked, and authentic. And you don't need a TED Talk, but you do need courage to start something. You don't need permission. You have authority because of what you lived. And so today, we reclaim that together. So do you want to know just not how to just speak, but to move people? So if you want this, you want me to continue any further, go ahead and just put I'm in the chat right now. And this is not for my benefit, but for yours. A study by Harvard Business Review showed that we are 5 times more likely to achieve our goals when we write them down. So now is your moment to 5x your results by typing I'm in the chat. Yes, Lori is in, Donna is in. I want it all. All right, Donna, let's go. So here's what we're going to discuss. Remember who God called you to be. Ignite your voice. Stand in your power and embrace the stage. And so, how? How do you come back after being silenced? After losing it all? You don't just bounce back, you rise. And this is the framework that I used, and not just to recover my voice, but to rebuild my entire life and calling. And it starts with remembering who God called you to be. So when the world strips away your titles, your job, your identity, you need to anchor to your original calling. I had to remember that I wasn't just a singer, I'm a vessel, a messenger. And God gave me a voice for a reason. And even if that platform changes, the purpose never does. So here's a tip. Before you master the mic, master your identity. Take 5 minutes before any presentation to reconnect with whom you serve and why you started. Before I take any stage, I pause and I thank God and I ask Him to bless my voice and just to reach one person. I take time to align my body, my breath, and my mind so I can be a vessel for Him whenever I take that stage. I ignite your voice, and this isn't just about sound, although as a singer I'm fairly partial to the sound, but it's using your voice as a brand, your mission, and your tool for impact. Igniting your voice means showing up with purpose even when fear tries to hold you back. It's choosing to speak, lead, and shine before you feel ready. And so your voice is breath, body, and mind. And so let's just practice a quick, I call it the 5-1-5 breathing technique. We're going to breathe in for 5, we're going to hold for 1, and when we breathe out, buzz your lips or hum, and this is going to activate your vocal connection. All right? And breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, and release. Great. So now by doing this exercise, before you get on stage, it will allow you to focus on your breath and mitigate nerves and calm your heart rate. And so S, stand in your power. This is not ego. This is not bravado, but this is embodied conviction. I had to stop apologizing for my gifts. I worked decades to hone this craft. I endured pain, training, rejection, and I wasn't going to minimize that anymore. And this is the moment you stop asking for permission and start owning your space. And so here's a tip. The body doesn't lie. Own your posture, own the room. So let's just try something really simple. Stand or sit up tall, feet grounded to the floor, hip width apart, weight evenly distributed. And now we're going to just stack. Hips over the heels, shoulders over the hips. No stiffness, just alignment, chest open and not puffed up. And when you breathe, put one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And when you breathe in, feel the belly drop. Feel that hand that is on your belly just expand. And so when you align your body, you align your presence. And this isn't just about posture, it's leadership. And when you're speaking, you aren't just speaking from your throat or your nose or your mask, but in total body alignment. And E, embrace the stage. The stage isn't just literal. It's somewhere you share your message and you can move people. For me, it started with singing, but expanded into speaking, media, podcasts, and more. And once I saw the stage as a calling and not a location, doors opened I would never have imagined. And you don't need permission to step forward, but you do need alignment and action. And so why does this matter? Well, every one of you has a stage, and your audience is waiting for you to show up. And so the day before the RNC, I stood alone by Lake Michigan. I had prepared for this moment, but in that quiet, God prepared me. And he reminded me of Psalm 40. That he had lifted me out of the pit of despair, and he set my feet upon a rock. And he gave me a new song to sing, a hymn of praise to my God. And I knew before I ever set foot on that stage that this performance is for breakthrough. This moment is going to change everything. And when I opened my voice up at the RNC, it was the first time in my life I had 100% total peace while singing. And I knew I had stepped into my calling. And I opened my voice as a vessel for his glory and not my own. And that day, I didn't just perform. I reclaimed my voice, my identity, and my assignment because I chose to rise. And now I don't share this to impress you. I share it to remind you, when you embrace the stage as a calling, doors open. From media interviews to best-selling books, yes, to CPAC, and even a mention on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and yes, even the RNC. But it wasn't about chasing fame. It was about showing up in obedience and excellence. And you never know who's watching. You never know who God will use your story when you're bold enough to show up. And so let's just pause for a second. If you've resonated with anything that I've shared, if you felt like your voice, confidence, and clarity has been tested by the storm, then I want to share what's helped me and it's helping others too. So if you're ready for me to continue, go ahead and type yes in the chat if you are ready for that. Let's type a yes, yes. So we've got G's iPad, yes. Lori, yes. Anne, yes. Okay, here we go. Just like Joyanne Chan. Joyanne came to me. She was an award-winning podcasting rock star. But after a 3-day summit, she lost her voice. And after working with me, she now has the tools to be able to warm her voice up, put her voice together. And now she speaks throughout the day. She podcasts, and she's able to mitigate that once vocal fatigue. And Dr. Julie Seamers, she just came to me a month ago, and she said, I've worked with a TEDx coach, I've worked with 2 speaker schools, and I have got a keynote that I need to do in California. And I just need a little bit of reassurance. And after working 2 minutes with me, she said she had learned more than that than she had with her TEDx coach and her 2 speaker coaches. And she delivered her keynote, and she told me that she felt so confident that she was able to, the audience was able to really feel that message that she shared. Jean Ann Roberts, she came to me, she wanted to present her book to the world. But when she was on stage, she felt she actually shared with me that when she was growing up, she said that her parents told her that little girls needed to be stayed in the corner and they needed to be seen and not heard. And she actually took that throughout her entire life. And so when she came to me, she had this really high-pitched voice. And for a seasoned woman, a very, very high-pitched voice sounding like a young person. So we worked to unlock and open her voice. And I was there for the announcement of her book. And a friend of mine, Renee Marino, Tony Robbins' guest host, may have seen her on Broadway and in movies, and she also endorsed me as well. So if you don't remember anything else from today, just remember this. Your storm didn't silence you, it prepared you. Your voice isn't just for speaking, it is for moving people, and you were called for more. And the moment you stop waiting for permission and start showing up with presence, passion, and purpose, that is when everything shifts. So let's pause. Where is God asking you to step up? And it may not be a stage like mine. Maybe a boardroom, a podcast, your social media, or that story that you've been afraid to tell. But what is that message that's burning inside of you? And this isn't something that you want to say, but it's something you must say. Because you can reclaim your voice, you can rise with confidence, and you can move people with your message. But it starts with a choice. So you might be wondering, how can I not just speak, but actually move people? How to use your voice, your face, and your body as a seasoned performer, and how to craft the right message and bring it to life. Well, this is your official invitation to the Commanding Voices program, the Star Power Framework, how to shine like a star on stage. It is the secret to unshakable presence, how to captivate any audience on camera and media and the stage. And so what is the next step? Connect with me. I've got 2 QR codes. One is all of my links, and the one on the bottom, you just connect there. That goes to a landing page. gives you a little information. And here I'm just going to walk through just a little bit of it. You will get the RISE blueprint that we just talked about, the star power method to own that body, that breath, and the stage presence. You also get the voice framework, how to craft your messages that move people to action. And this is a proven system to go from fear to freedom. So your message makes an impact. And as a free gift for showing up today, I would like to offer you a breathing video I use every single time. This is a 20-minute guided video, and this gives me the confidence to show up for 10 people or even 10,000 people. And for the VIPs, you get the voice starter kit. This is the mindset, the body, the breath method, and the voice framework. How to structure your message and deliver with confidence. So go ahead, open up your phones, take a picture of the QR codes. And one last thing before I leave. You do not rise by chance. You rise by choice. A choice to stop shrinking and to stop waiting, to start owning the message that God gave you, because your moment is coming. Your voice will be needed. And when that door opens, I want you to be ready. So not just to speak, but to move people, to lead with boldness, to glorify God with every breath. And so if you're ready to rise, let's link arms and walk this out together. This is your moment. Let me help you shine.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much for going through your storm and coming out shining and helping other people to do the same. It is so appreciated.
Thank you very much.